Hey guys, it's Peyton, and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in August. I read 5 books. 4 of those were regular novels that I wanted to read, and 1 was a short story that I was forced to read for college. And the main reason I didn't read more this month, because if you didn't know, if you didn't watch my last wrap-up video, I read 13 books last month, which was the most I've ever done. And this month, I didn't do bad, but not as well as I wanted to, and that's because college started and my life is over and my life is ruined. I literally had a mental breakdown earlier because I was putting on makeup for this video, didn't even get to my mascara. I'm not even wearing mascara right now. I started crying because I literally still hadn't even finished my homework. I'm so stressed, guys. This semester's hitting harder than the other ones, and I literally am mentally freaking out. I don't know how to get all this homework done. I feel a little bit better now. I had a few hours of free time and I'm ready to film a video and talk about some books that I read. I actually used fake books in the thumbnail for 3 of them because BookTube consumerism likes thumbnails with a stack of books, and I don't own a couple of these books. Before we dive right into what I read and my thoughts, don't forget to subscribe and like this video and follow my social medias. It helps me a lot. I appreciate it a lot. The first book that I read in August is The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. I gave this book a 4 to 5 stars. It's the second book in the Daevabad trilogy that starts off with the City of Brass. The premise of the first book centers around our main character, Nari. She lives in Cairo, Egypt in the 18th century. Nari is a con woman, and she actually has a talent for healing people that actually might prove to be magical. One day she accidentally summons a jinn man named Dara, and he tells her about this magical city of Daevabad that she actually is from. She's supposed to be living there, but you know, there's a dark past and a story behind that. And they end up setting on a journey to go to Daevabad and, you know, enjoy the city. Not really. That city is complicated and there's a lot of shit going down. Our other narrator is Ali. He is the prince of Daevabad. He has an older brother who's the crown prince and a sister. He's not really the favorite of his father, and let's just say his father is a tyrannical ruler, and when Nari and Ali's paths cross, they actually don't even like each other that much at first, but they get in a lot of shit together and it's so much fun. Ali is definitely my favorite character in the entire series. I listened to this book on audiobook and also followed along with it physically for most of the time because this book is a complex adult fantasy world that takes a lot of time and effort because it's just so many things. It's such an intricate and beautiful world with a beautiful magic system that is just so unique. I feel like I've never really read a fantasy book like this one before, and that's what's so great about this book is how unique it is. It wasn't a full 5 stars for me because I just didn't really fall in love with the characters the way that I was hoping I would. Not saying I didn't like the characters, it just didn't become an intense love where I literally was gonna cry if someone died, you know? But I still like them, obviously. I still care about them and want to see what's going on with them, but I was hoping it would reach a Hunger Games level of I love you so much, Finnick, please don't die on me, and Katniss and Peeta, you know, everybody. I wanted to be a die-hard stan of everybody. And while I'm thoroughly enjoying this trilogy so far, read the first and second one, still haven't read the third one, it's not an all-time favorite. Something I didn't really like about it was there was a new POV thrown into the mix. It was Dara's point of view. I do not like him. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but that man, I feel like I'm supposed to care about him. I feel like I'm supposed to ship him with Nari, but I definitely don't. Nari and Ali, I ship that so hard, and I really hope that's a thing. I don't know if that's supposed to be a thing, but I feel the vibes, and I feel no vibes with Dara, with anything. I just straight up don't like him. I feel like he's so annoying and a bad person. I know I could be attacked for that, but I don't like him, man. I just don't like him. Leave me alone. The next book that I read was Sanctuary by Paola Mendoza and Abby Shear. I gave this book a 4 to 5 stars. I read this book for a reading vlog. I read it as an arc before it came out. It just came out, and there's a whole vlog of me reading this arc and a few other arcs as well, if you're interested in that. I got this arc from NetGalley, and I'm so glad I did because I probably would have never picked it up if that didn't happen. I just feel like I wouldn't have found this book. I wouldn't have been drawn to it, and I'm so glad I read it because it's such an important and powerful story. So it's a terrifying dystopian world 2032 in America, and there has been a wall that has been built between the US and Mexico. The US government has a leader who's pretty much set on eliminating all undocumented immigrants. He is so set on it threat that he will kill them and do anything to get rid of them, and terrible, terrible things this man is trying to do to these people. He's going so far as murdering people, throwing them in concentration camps, and just separating families completely. Our main character, Valley, is undocumented, as well as her parents, and her little brother Ernie actually was born in the US, but her parents, I believe they were from Colombia, and they came over to the US because they just had no other option at the time. The US has reached a point where everybody has chips inside of their wrists, and if you don't have a chip, you will be found out because they have scanners all over the place and they scan you. And if your scan doesn't work and proves that you are a real citizen or real citizen of America, or you're documented, then you are beaten, you are thrown away, like you are taken to a concentration camp, you are then murdered, like just horrible things will happen to you. And Valley and her parents have fake chips, but she's terrified of the day that the chips malfunction, because it's kind of inevitable and she's seen it happen to people before. The worst thing that could possibly happen happens to Valley and Ernie, and they are left alone, desperately trying to reach California, because California is actually about to be blocked off from the rest of the US and going to be some sort of sanctuary where people are going to be okay, like undocumented people, like they're not going to be treated the way that the rest of the US is doing at this current moment. Valley and Ernie have to make it to California, but the only problem is they're like all the way on the other side of the US. Like I think they were on the East Coast, and it's just their terrifying, brutal journey all alone. They're young, like her brother is 8 or something like that. She's a teenager. Like it's horrifying to read about. It was such a sad book, and that's what made it so good and important, because you really fell in love with these characters because you really wanted them to be okay. You wanted a happy ending for them, and that's why I kept turning the pages, because I needed to know if they were going to be okay, and I won't let you know. Like, you need to just read the book. I'm about to tear up just thinking about it because it was such a scary journey. It really gives me chills thinking about how this could be the reality if things continue going the way they are. That's what's so powerful about certain dystopians, is the dystopians that could possibly be a near future thing. Something that could so easily happen. Because there's some dystopians that are like, okay, that would be really crazy if that happened. A lot would have to happen for that to go that way. But this one, 2032, we're already in like stages of where this could happen. It's just disgusting to even think about, and I hate that I could actually see this happening one day. And there wasn't anything in particular that I didn't like about this book. It just wasn't a full 5-star moment for me, and I highly recommend it, but I do caution you, if you're not ready for a really sad book, do not read it, because this book is painful. Like, I'm not even kidding you, it hurts. The next book I read was Darius the Great is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. This book is about Darius. He lives in Portland. He is battling with depression and really mean kids at school currently. He's half Persian. His mother's Persian, his dad's white, I believe. And then he finds out that his grandpa, who lives in Iran, is probably gonna die soon, and he's never met him. He's never visited Iran ever, and his family decides to take a trip just to travel and connect with their grandfather for the first and maybe the last time that they ever can. This book follows his journey of connecting with another side of himself and his culture and making his first true friend ever. There's no romance in this book. It's just a pure friendship, and it also deals a lot with Darius's relationship with his father. They are having a lot of issues with each other, and Darius' father also suffers from depression, so they have that in common. What I think is so great about this book is how I feel like it's going to help so many biracial kids and teens who don't feel fully connected to both sides of their cultures, and making them realize that they're not alone. And I just feel like people could learn a lot from this book as well. I obviously can't speak on if the representation was done well for Persian people. I'm white, I don't know anything about it, but I read some reviews and it seems to be really like loved and people really enjoy this book. My favorite part about this book actually was the depression representation. This is something that I can actually speak on because I have been diagnosed with depression in the past. I've been through it. I still go through it, you know, like it doesn't fully ever go away, like, you know, it comes back sometimes. This was the most accurate portrayal that I've ever seen of depression. I actually really related to this. It just felt very authentic to me, at least to my personal experiences. It was so well done and a very great way for people who don't have depression to get a little bit of insight on what it actually is for some people. And I wish I loved this book even more than I did. It's just I didn't really feel very connected with the plot or his newfound friend. And the big thing about this book was like the newfound friend. I didn't feel like we knew that much about his friend Sarab. I just didn't end up caring all that much about the friendship because of that. There was like a scene at the end of the book that really annoyed me. They got in this really stupid argument. I just didn't like that, and I can't tell you because it's a spoiler. There was also not that much plot. It was a lot of just him discovering himself, and I loved that for what it was, but I will say there wasn't that much going on at the same time. The next book that I read was Darius the Great Deserves Better by Adib Khorram. This was an arc that I read. It's the second book to the other Darius book that I just talked about, and I gave this one a 4 to 5 stars, so I actually enjoyed this one even more than the first one. I just felt like this book was really well done because we had the backstory of the first book, so we really have a well-rounded view of Darius and his life. That makes me really connect with Darius. That's the best things about this book, is just the connection that you have with Darius. I think this is going to be a trilogy just because this book left off on some sort of cliffhanger and it's really annoying. I feel like there has to be another book to this, but I love sometimes when contemporaries do a series because then you just can fully immerse yourself in these people a little bit more than just the average standalone. And this book was actually even more interesting because there was a love triangle between 3 boys. Darius actually came out as gay in this book. The first book, he didn't really mention it at all, but this one, he actually touched on it. I really think the love interest that I think he's supposed to be with, him and them, like, they are cute. Like, I really liked that guy. And I just feel like it's going to be a good vibe once, you know, things start going. Like, I don't know. I just really liked that and I got excited about that. I'm invested in this trilogy series, whatever it's going to be now. I'm invested, and if I don't get another book after what happened at the end of this book, I'm going to be so freaking mad. I'm here for it now. I need to know what happens. I need to know how the romance goes. I need to know how Darius and his father goes because now they have like a cute friendship during this book. I just want to know how it goes. The next book that I read was Life in the Iron Mills by Rebecca Harding Davis. I'm not going to talk that much about this. This was the short story that I had to read. I didn't even rate the book because I don't even feel like that's fair. I was like half paying attention. That just kind of happens when I read school books. The gist of this book is that it's a realism piece focusing on the life of this guy named Hugh. He is a working class person in like industrial times. Like, it was crazy, and he's living harsh conditions, harsh working, and he's like an artist. He has so much artistic potential within him, and he feels like his soul is being snuffed out because all he is doing is working in these factories and he can't do anything with his artistic abilities. He has no money for it. This book is just depressing, and honestly don't even recommend it because, like, why do you even want that energy in your life? It was really sad. I do think it's like a good thing historically to read, but like, nah, like, I would not pick this up myself, but I can have an appreciation for it. You know, my professor makes it sound good, but I wouldn't have read it any other way. Like, I wouldn't have read it for any other reason. I don't know what I'm saying. So I honestly would have read at least 2 more books, but I started college. Why did I just say started like that? Like, I almost said like stated. Like, I started. Like, what the heck was that? I think I'm just tired and I'm having a mental breakdown. Whoa. College has absolutely ruined my life and taken away every ounce of free time that I had, any happiness and joy that I had in my YouTube channel, any reading fun times, any free time, just anything I had in my life. It's ruining because all I do is homework now, and I'm not even freaking joking. You think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I literally wake up at like early morning times and I be working on homework until late at night. No breaks. I'm not even kidding. Like, you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, man. I'm not. Comment a purple heart if you made it this far into this video. I will be very pleased if you did. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you read this month. Like this video, comment down below. Have a good day. Please subscribe. Make sure to follow all my social medias, which are linked down below. And go click the bell button, which is right by the subscribe button, which you should have already clicked. And goodbye.